Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We got our final matchup of United Rogue Rocket League tonight. 10-15 matchup. We're looking at a high league NCS matchup here. It's going to be a great time. I got Pi with me here in the booth. What's up, Pi?
Oh, just as excited as always to have yet another Rocket League series, and we stay in the Noodle Cup like our preceding series as well. Might be looking to perhaps extend this series further than the 3 games we got last time, but it's all going to come down to who exactly ends up performing on the pitch. Carolina comes into this series. They lost their week 1 matchup to Atlanta, so they're looking to get on the right foot and get things back on track in week number 2. And Baltimore, they're looking to get another win as well. So really, it comes down to, I think, who ends up having the better game number 1, because we've seen that kind of momentum carry all the way through a series. I expect it to kind of be the same way this time.
True. Early in the season, starting out strong in game 1. That's good looks for any team here. Is Baltimore 2-0 right now? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, well, I wish I could confirm or deny,
Oh
but
yeah,
we
it's
really
all
don't have a way to track Noodle Cup series results. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we could find that information prior to the broadcast. And with the technical issues that we've had with the bots, with ball chasing, with everything like we talked
yeah.
about at the beginning of the prior series, it's just been kind of difficult to track everything that's going on. So maybe somebody in chat will know. They'll shout out what exactly Baltimore's current record is. But
Oh yeah.
I would expect it to be kind of the same way that they approached their week 1 series. It's, you can only play the game that's in front of you. You might as well be going for a win.
Yeah, and it looks like the players are loading up onto the pitch here. For Carolina, we got NK, Yaki, and Lights. And for Baltimore, we're looking at Town, Flyfire, and Dimensions. Here we go, folks. 5 minutes on the clock. Starts off. Baltimore, a little bit of possession. Dimensions, popping it up high with a 50. Town, trying to drop it down. Knocked away by NK. Right back to Flyfire. Just barely picked up by Light in front of the goal line. Flyfire just all over it once again. Carolina already scrambling right off the rip. They got some control though. Okay, over to Light. Light looking for the double, not quite anything there. Town's got a full tank of boost, but Yaki with nothing in the tank is 50. It's back to the side of Carolina though. Baltimore's feeling it out for these first 30, 40 seconds here.
Multiple debos already occurring around the neutral area. Not a whole lot that Baltimore could do to kind of take advantage of that space. Flyfire will flip past the ball, allowing Town to get another touch on the ball. And from the sidewall, it's the read that they need in order to get the first goal on the board.
Yeah, that's a interesting play by Flyfire. I'm not sure if he was trying to hit the ball or not, but he kind of faked out Carolina, allowed Town to pick it up, take to the wall, and then get a good kind of low boost aerial play there. So good first goal by Baltimore. Started off. Kickoff goes in favor of Baltimore. Flyfire looking to shoot another one on net. NK's probably going to get back to that one. He does. Light will take a boost, takes control. Dimensions here to 50 him. Goes in favor of NK there. Baltimore, though, looking to keep that one away. A shot coming out from Yaki, and it's in. Carolina responds early on.
That's kind of the style that Carolina elects to play with. We saw them do this to great effect in week 1 as well. Unfortunately, they didn't get that win, but they like to play rather aggressively, and sometimes that leads to a couple overcommits like we saw on the first goal from Baltimore, but also it leads to a lot of opportunities if you're able to keep the offensive pressure going in the opponent's zone like we saw them do on that goal right there. So even things up for both teams, and Light's going to want to get a little bit of a psycho opportunity off their own backboard, but again, maybe not the best decision in the moment given that Baltimore's breathing down your neck. And unfortunately for Carolina, it kind of backfires in their face, and Flyfire will get the second goal on the board for the Crack.
Well, at least it's good to know that Light's having a great time. Going for the psycho first game, and the game's tied. Didn't work out in his favor that time, but who knows? Maybe he'll, get some crazy later on, make up for it. Here we go, Flyfire looking to get a third for Baltimore. Dimensions a little late to that one. It goes kind of back toward his own half. MK just kind of gives it to Town. Town looking to follow it. 50. Light pops it up high after that 50. Flyfire, a little bit of space on the ball. Light coming. Avoids him over to Town. Into Carolina's corner. It's a race. Dimensions full boost. Beats Yaki to that. Good coverage though. All 3 Carolina players in that corner, but they managed to get it out. Flyfire's on the other side of the pitch, maybe looking for an outlet from Town. No, Town is getting absolutely harassed by Yaki. Here we go, light up top, looking to make up for that Psycho attempt. Nothing much, but it's Flyfire just slowly rolling into the net for Baltimore's third.
And I think for anything right now, the vibes are high for Carolina. That's about the only thing they got going for them at the current moment. You can see Yaki, I think they had half a mind to go for that quarter boost, but by the time they decided, hey, that might not necessarily be a good idea, the ball was already halfway into the net. So now the advantage becomes 2 for this Baltimore team, but right off the kickoff, it's back to 1 with a great read off the backboard by NK.
Wow, banger double from NK off the kickoff. 71 kph, back of the Ripper car. I'm not sure what that vehicle is doing in this match, but I love it. Carolina only down by 1 with still over half the game to go. It's not looking too bad.
Yeah, the issue is that it was such a clean and good-looking shot, and then you just had to ruin it with that preset that you decided to bring into this match. But either way, the fashionality of Rocket League cars aside, brought themselves back, and they've given themselves an opportunity to make this a one-shot game. They still got a little less than halfway to go in this game number 1, so they've given themselves a lot of time and opportunities with which that they can potentially bring this back equal or even pull ahead. Because this Carolina team, Baltimore, they got their work cut out for them, but we've seen them be able to respond in kind whenever Carolina puts the pressure on. But if you're going to miss defensive challenges like that, then that doesn't necessarily lead to that kind of defensive posturing that brings you success.
Wow, this game 1 is an absolute shootout. Like you said, Baltimore, they had their work cut out for them, but they weren't really getting the challenges they need on the defense there, and they allowed Carolina to tie it up. It's looking to be a great series, though, if this continues, you know, and if the defensive challenges get better on both sides, then it's not only going to be a shootout, it's going to be a high-quality shootout. So I'm looking forward to that. Another good goal by NK, but here's Carolina once again trying to put some pressure on Baltimore's net, looking for a fourth. Dimensions carries that away, though. Yaki drops it for Light. Light looking for the double, beat out by Flyfire. Dimensions trying to cause disruption. Town opts to bang it away to a full boost. NK. That Ripper. 42 boost, kind of awkward. Popped up to Dimensions, looking for the flip reset. Doesn't really get any touch. Town dunking one of the Carolina players. Just looking safe as now a demo comes through from Town. Another demo, but no one's quite there to shoot the ball.
Going to get away with it as that ball ends up going across and out. And the ball is Town. A little bit of back pass from Dimensions. They'll take to the air. Full tank of boost, trying to get the opening that they need, but unfortunately the defense stands firm and doesn't really overcommit, so things will stay relatively the same. Dimensions out, using their flip. They're going to get back to that ball. Town had committed, so now 2 players in the corner for Baltimore. They will both forsake the ball, allow Carolina to take over on their own backboard as Yaki potentially wanting to double with NK and send that pinch down the length of the field, but it's going to be Baltimore with a 2v1 opportunity coming through from the corner. Defense once again wrangling around that corner play. Flyfire with the double will slam it in.
Ooh, that's a really good 50 from, I think it was Town? Or no, it was Dimensions. That's a really good 50, really smart. Drops it right to Flyfire in the middle, and Light and Yaki just have no chance of getting up to that ball quick enough. And Flyfire puts in that double. 30 seconds left. Baltimore's up by 1. Carolina needs something soon. Baltimore has the ball yet again. They'll look for a flip reset from Town, and he's trying to drop on it, but with Flyfire possession. Flyfire passing out to Dimensions. It's blocked by us. Oh, unfortunate. But Baltimore still has the pressure. Low time on the clock. Carolina's not breaking out. Oh, maybe they are. Yaki can take down the pitch. A little pinch away from Town. Popping it up high, just gonna waste time. Carolina 50s. Last second efforts from Carolina. What can Light do with the ball? Passing over to NK. A little pop up. Town. One more from NK. Yaki, a little bit of boost. Can he control this? Pass it to his teammate Light. Oh, so close. That was a close opportunity from Carolina there, but Baltimore is going to take game 1.
It was open if they had the legs to get that ball all the way to the net, or even passing it central for a teammate to run onto it. But unfortunately for Carolina, they really didn't have a chance in this game to be able to play from the front. Always on the back foot, it seemed like, and even when they drew level at 3-3, it seemed like it was really only a matter of time before Baltimore was going to be able to exploit the weaknesses in their defense that they had really been taking advantage of the entire game. But for Carolina, the thing I think that they can take forward is that they can hang offensively with this team. Unfortunately, their defense leaves a little bit to be desired.
Yeah, Carolina's got good opportunities, and NK especially made some good plays when he was given the ball. It just looked like a little bit of confusion on the side of Carolina's defense and left something to be desired, like you said. Baltimore, it wasn't that they were looking so much more cleaner than Carolina on defense. They just had the ball more, and they were on offense. I don't know if I had to guess. I don't have two monitors, so I can't look at those stats that come up after the game. If I had to guess, I feel like Baltimore had the ball like 65% of the time. So let's see if Carolina can try to take a little more possession this game. It's a pretty general thing to say. So, how they do that, that's up to them. So let's see what NK Light and Yaki do to respond to Baltimore in this game number 2. Here we go, folks.
Another interesting point to bring up is that we talked about the aggressive play style that Carolina likes to run with, and you could see that from statistics as well. They spent a lot of time ahead of the ball, and generally with Rocket League teams, you see most of the players electing to play behind the ball because if you want to shoot, generally that's the direction that you need to push the ball in to be from when you want to do that. But with a lot of players being in front of the ball for Carolina, they're looking for those opportunities to send the ball downfield to somebody who's either waiting on the backboard or making themselves available in the offensive third of the field. So it kind of leaves you a little bit shorthanded on defense. We kind of saw that a little bit in game number 1 with Carolina, where they didn't necessarily have the personnel in the right space to take advantage of things. And it's going to come to a head in this game number 2, where Baltimore takes an early lead right off the back of some questionable positioning for Carolina.
Questionable positioning indeed. I'm hearing what you're saying about that, positioning with relativity to the ball, and it seems that's kind of like a confidence thing. Like Carolina's super confident they can get those balls down the field, but it didn't work out. Dimensions got a shot, put it on target, and Baltimore's up 1-0. But Carolina looking to respond immediately. They made good by keeping the pressure and popping it high over these Baltimore players. And NK's there to clean it up, yeah.
And it's always a good thing whenever you can force your opponent to work at a boost deficit. You can see Flyfire really not a real chance to get into the play. They were grounded that entire time because they don't have the boost to go up and challenge that ball at the point of attack. So Carolina really uncontested when it came through to those multiple opportunities on the Baltimore net. Off the ensuing kickoff for that, Baltimore putting the pressure back on Carolina, and it's really a rehash of what we saw in game number 1, where Baltimore was able to score, then Carolina comes back, and then Baltimore applies a little bit more pressure. We'll see if Carolina is able to turn things around in game 2, because the one thing that I really haven't seen from them yet is how they perform with a lead. They just haven't had the goals to put that out yet.
Yeah, I think if Carolina's going to take this game 2, they got to break the cycle. They got to get a lead, like you said. Lots of time on the clock. Some demos opening up the pitch. NK trying to control the ball with a low boost. Gets bumped off by a Baltimore player. Light shadow defending. Got a lot of boost. Gets it over 2 Baltimore players. Can he power slide correctly? He does it kind of correctly. Either way, he scores the goal. Great play by Light.
So now they're cooking with gas, and you can see that power slide right into the immediate jump afterwards. Gives them just a little bit of an advantage, keeps the speed up, and allows that ball to go careening into the net. So this is what we want to see from Carolina, with that confident, aggressive play style that they're choosing to play with. Now they've got themselves a little bit of a lead, so we'll see if that kind of leads to further and further aggression and maybe a little bit more possession upfield, trying to force Baltimore to have to break out and go the full length of the field. But it doesn't really seem like they're able to kind of hold the ball in. NK is going to send this down for Yaki, lurking upfield once again, like we talked about. Would have had an opportunity, but Light gets taken off the field, so no infield ability to be able to strike quickly for this Carolina team. And really not a whole lot of possession in the midfield to talk about between both of these sides.
Yeah, I think Carolina is ramping up. They're getting in their play style. Honestly, I'm a little worried for Baltimore. I think that Carolina's going to have it figured out here, but, I really got no clue. I haven't seen this roster before. Maybe Baltimore is just super resilient. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Carolina, though. They're taking these balls. They're just moving really fast, and I like that. Light trying to get it over to Dimensions. Dimensions pops it up high. Gives it to Flyfire, though. Good possession. Maybe a dunk from Fly. Yaki does well to defend that. Light racing to this ball. Recognizes that he has a little bit of time. Opts for Musty. Drops down to NK. NK kind of just gives the ball away. Luckily, Light was there to get a little disruption and prevent super good possession from Baltimore. Baltimore is swinging it side to side. Dimensions to Town. Town to Firefly. And Town slots it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. A good play by Baltimore.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Carolina, once again, it's a double commit coming off of the backboard as that ball goes from the side to the near side and just leaves everybody out of position and not really able to address the ball in time before it's really back over everybody's heads. So kudos to Baltimore for being able to stay resilient on their own defensive end and be able to bring themselves back into this one-shot game. Now it's really anybody's opportunity to come away with this game. We're now under 2 minutes left to play in this game number 2, and if Baltimore ends up winning it, they would go on to series points. So that's something that Carolina is going to want to avoid. They're going to have to get at least one more through.
Comes Baltimore, fly fire, a lot amount of boost. Just drops it in front of Yaki. NK looking for a bump. Fly fire recognizes that, cuts it off. Town, lots of boost, one-on-one with Light. Faking the rip. Oh, dirty.
Oh, no.
Oh, a huge bump from Baltimore.
The absolute disrespect. You just get the lead block in front. Dimension says, you know what? You're not going to get an attempt to play defense at all. Clears of the way, and that's how Baltimore is going to retake the lead. So they're not afraid to get a little bit physical, get a little bit dirty on the goal line. And when you leave your defenders in a 2v1 opportunity like that, that's the kind of the risk that you end up running. And for Carolina, that's kind of the risk that they've accepted as a part of their play style. And once again, a little bit of disruption on the back line leads to another goal for Baltimore.
Yeah, I could not have been more wrong. If I'm Baltimore, I'm not scared at all, actually. I am just owning Carolina in this game, too, with some good disruption. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Town. He's super patient. Their comms are probably really good if they're, recognizing when they got that much space and just opting for the demo instead. Baltimore gets 2 quick goals, and now they're up 2. It's all on Carolina to put something together, but Town looking for another dunk. Just blocked away by Light. Okay, a little possession. Just kind of rips it up to Light. There's that outlet kind of upfield positioning that we were talking about. It didn't really work out that time. Fly Fire looking for a dunk just off the post, and K can clean it up with the help of Light. He can. Light gets more by Dimensions though, and here comes Baltimore yet again. Looking for another demo. Something's happening in the midfield here. Light's the only one left on defense. 2 Baltimore players. Can he defend this one? NK comes back. Incredible. Last second save. Just a few seconds left on the clock. Dimensions, one final shot. Up 3 goals for Baltimore. That's looking like wraps for game 2.
Yeah, 10 seconds left. This might be the goal that puts things a little bit out of reach for Carolina. Baltimore firing on all cylinders when it comes to being able to take the opportunities that are afforded to them. Currently out shooting Carolina by quite a lot. It comes to 11 shots versus 5 or so that we're currently tallying up. We'll see exactly how many they end up with as the time ticks away. 0 seconds on the clock. That ball will hit the dirt. And Baltimore, 2 games in a row, they're on a way to sweeping out this Carolina team.
Well played by Baltimore. Carolina kind of stepped into their style a little bit early on in that game, and seems like Baltimore found a way to just shut that down. I'm impressed. Like you said, let's look at the shot count. Baltimore's racking up 12, and Carolina's got 5. That's definitely something Carolina needs to work out. They just I don't know why they're struggling for shots when they're so aggressive. It seems Baltimore is just not letting any of that happen, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. Baltimore's just got some better choices, maybe some better positioning, or maybe it's just that Carolina's playing a type of game that it's a little bit of early season fun. I'm not sure.
It could be that, but then when you look a little bit deeper into it as well, the shots that Carolina was able to generate, it didn't necessitate a save or a defensive response from Baltimore. You can see that Baltimore only had to make 1 save. That's recorded as a save for the way Rocket League interprets it as. So everything that Carolina is doing offensively it isn't really enough to be threatening in terms of the way Baltimore needs to respond to it. And unfortunately, that kind of just leads to a little bit of confidence, I think, going the other way for Baltimore, where they could say, hey, we've got things where we need them to be on defense, so we're going to pay a little bit more attention to what we need to do on offense. And Carolina is really just giving them everything that they need in order to be successful on offense with those odd man rushes and those just opportunities that go the other way when you're left with a 2v1 like we saw to great effect for Baltimore to execute on. It just doesn't lead to a whole lot of success for this kind of play style that Carolina's elected to use. Now, if they were a little bit more cognizant of where everybody is on the field, maybe that could bring them a little bit more success. But you can see 2 players on the field for Carolina, no boost to speak of until Light's able to grab that corner 100, and they get taken off the field once again, leaving a odd man opportunity for Baltimore to try and capitalize on. Not really going their way right now.
Yeah, there's some great points you brought up. I think Carolina, I'm curious if they'll really just try to lock in this game 3 because, oh, wow, here comes Baltimore yet again. Carolina's got to respond because Fly Fire and Dimensions just cooked up something brilliant.
And I think for Carolina, they're kind of tired of being in the position that they're in, having to constantly fight from behind. There was a time in that game number 2 where they were able to kind of take advantage and finally play with the lead. It was 2-1 at one point in that game, but then Baltimore was able to score 4 unanswered goals, and we saw how that game ended up as well. So unfortunately for the Reapers, they find themselves down once again, and they have to fight back in a position that they've become all too aware of in this series in particular. And if they don't find a way to change something around from what they're currently doing, it might end up being over quicker than most people expect.
Yeah, definitely quicker than I would expect, knowing a few of these players on this Carolina roster. I'm noticing that Baltimore is really just paying attention to filling the space where their teammates are not. And Town has been especially good at that. Fly Fire and Dimensions cooking up on offense. Town is right where he needs to be to pick up anything. Here comes Dimensions with another shot. Light blocks it away as it's a little slow. NK with an opportunity down the field. If he can grab this boost and get a pass ready, no. Dimensions just obliterates him. That's a really smart demo. And here comes Dimensions yet again. On the ball looking for a flip. NK's quick to that, blocks it away. Fly Fire looking to keep it in. Light and Yaki kind of scrambling here to get this one out. Yaki over to Light. Maybe the passes are starting to connect for Carolina. Yaki really does nothing with that ball, though. Just kind of banging it around. NK for something to keep that out here, but touch didn't really go his way. But a great pass. Misflip from Fly Fire, I believe. Makes that opportunity kind of dissolve out. And here's Carolina with another possession.
I think the talking point for Carolina is going to be they need at least to get one to go through, right? And once they get one, like they do right here, then it becomes a completely different game because they've kept it close enough to where the defensive mistakes haven't necessarily contributed to anything on behalf of Baltimore. But when you talk about what Carolina has to do or maybe change something a little bit differently, the demos that Baltimore is getting are so crucial, and they come at such critical times in the juncture of the offensive push for Carolina that it kind of just forces things to fall apart. And we've seen that a number of times in this series so far. And one of the things we've also seen is that as soon as Carolina is able to get something on the offensive end, Baltimore just comes back with a quick response, and they've just authoritatively found another way to get back in the lead.
Yeah, I'm looking at Carolina. I'm a little curious what's going on because they take the lead and then they start going for cycles again and double commits, and now they're up 2, and Carolina's got to do something quick. They got to lock in. That's all I got to say really. Light and NK, they need to put something together. Yaki's playing a decent supporting role here, but it seems that when they go up a goal, they just kind of forget how to play the game a little bit.
Like we said before, I think the vibes in Carolina are currently high, but that's really about the only thing they've got going for them so far in this series. And well, if you want to win Rocket League games, you're going to need something, I think, to go along with those vibes. They've been trying to come out with these sort of mechanical plays, these solo plays, these touches that come off of the backboard as well. But unfortunately, they haven't necessarily materialized into something resembling a cohesive package. They've been great strikes, they've been bright spots, but they haven't really been consistent enough to really challenge Baltimore throughout these 3 games. And they're in danger of getting run out of the building yet again,
Oh,
as Baltimore's going to find another one to go through and make the lead 3 goals.
yeah, Baltimore is just having none of the shenanigans. They do not care what Carolina is doing. They want to run up the score, and now they're up by 3. It's looking more and more out of reach for Carolina here, but who knows? Maybe they could pull off. Oh gosh, interesting kick up there, but maybe they could pull off some late game opportunities here. NK is looking to take the ball down the field in this Jeep Wrangler. Nothing much comes of that. Flyfire popping it up while he's backwards, looking for a pass off the backboard. Dimensions there to receive it. Light just barely gets a tip of that off a double commit with Carolina. Very fortunate for them. Town gonna take that towards the net. Yaki's there to deny. Lights. Lots of boost. Uses it all for the 50. A decent 50, but NK just isn't there to quite continue the ball movement down the field. Yaki throwing it wide. Flyfire still up to take possession of that ball. Light off the boost yet again for some 50s. Baltimore's just getting the better 50s though on defense. The Carolina's got nothing to show in the last 45 seconds, and they're running out of time.
Benjamin's going to pursue this ball back to their own corner. They're going to 50 it off of the ceiling, and it springs the way for Town to go through down to the near side. It's going to rebound up and give availability for Dimensions. Unfortunately, the read was not there. 2 players for Carolina trying to continue the ball down into the zone, but this is going to be all that they wrote for Carolina and Baltimore. And Baltimore's going to walk away from this series with a clean 3-0 sweep and set themselves up for continued success further out into the season. Because if the way that they handled this series in particular, I mean, that's going to be everybody on notice in the Eastern Conference, I think, for this Baltimore team.
Yeah, really well played by Baltimore. GG's to both teams. I think Carolina came out with something in mind. They knew what they wanted to do, but they just didn't necessarily adapt all that well to Baltimore, recognizing that style and beating down Carolina in all 3 of these games. So great games by both. Carolina, got the whole season to figure out how you're going to make your play style work or adapt a little bit. But thank you folks so much for watching. That's it for the night. I believe, yeah, it is it for the night. We got one more